YOURREGURU. We are live with your guru with Mtn Top Chats today.
Here we go. I am so excited today, Karen. We have a stack of news on the desk today. Of course, because real estate, the news just continues always. There's an exciting event coming on, and I'm going to get to be there. And it's not exciting because I'm going to get to be there, but it is an exciting event. And that's the National Association of Realtors legislative meeting coming up on May 1st. It goes for a week. And before you say to yourself, how is a legislative meeting ever going to be exciting? Well, let me tell you, this is where we take a look at the bills. We do some planned lobbying efforts. We plan our whole legislative output as to how we are helping this environment continue its growth plan and keeping real estate top of mind with everybody. Now, note though, real estate, come on, we are nearly 1/4 of the macro budget, the macro economy that's out there. It's huge. So, there's good reasons that we're involved in legislation. All right, next announcement though is, and I've announced it the last couple of weeks, but I feel like so passionate about this particular event. It's another NAR event, and that is the Ioi Summit. Karen, you and I were there a couple of years ago, and
sure were.
It was so fun. Now, I'm actually not
a little closer for us last time.
Yes, and I'm not planning to go to this one. I believe this is in Los Angeles, but it's September 28, 29. This is the event where they showcase the new products and services, the cutting edge technologies that are out there. And it is just crazy exciting. If you are as excited about technology as I am, well, then this is something you shouldn't miss. And I know it can be expensive to go to some of these events, but this is one you really should think about. If you're a technology geek as I am, then going to something like this is just crazy exciting. This is where things like Curbio was launched. And even though they're not necessarily a tech company, but they are a new company, it's an innovation summit. And it's an innovation not just in tech, although tech is a big part of it. But certainly the innovation part of it is just huge. Now, I want to get a new announcement out there. And Karen, I am just crazy excited about this coming up.
No, what are you crazy about this time?
Well, this is our first annual event on the Mount Hood Realty Pancake feed coming up on June 18th. So mark your calendars on it. This is a free community event. We're doing it in the parking lot. It's the Mount Hood Realty Pancake community feed event. Bring your appetite. June 18th from 9 a.m. to noon. You can watch a blind person flip pancakes. I'll do the best I can. I mean, I have a tiny bit of eyesight, but I have helpers, but we're going to have just a roar of a time doing it. We've done other events, and it's always so much fun. The parking lot gets full, and the community event on this is huge. So we also will be having, and it's not completely settled yet, we'll have some donation pieces going on, Karen?
Well, that's what we're hoping for. We've reached out to a couple different places, and we're waiting because what we found is a lot of the different organizations have rules as to what we're allowed to pass out, whether we're actually allowed to use their names. Some of them have applications. So we have a couple feelers out, and we will announce this in the future as well. So we are pretty excited. June 18th, it's coming up around the corner, but
it's close.
We still have a little bit of time, and get your stomachs ready for some pancakes. I think
pancakes, syrup, sausage links.
Pancakes are going to come out pretty good. Sausage links. because Rod actually cooks breakfast almost every day for us. So I'm pretty excited about that. Cleanup sometimes can be a bit of work, but the food is usually pretty good. All right.
And I have the address on a slide here. You can take a peek at that.
Is that coming up?
And that is the next slide. And that is 201 Southeast Dora Street, Troutdale, Oregon 97060.
That'll be at our Troutdale office. Obviously, it's in Troutdale, but we do have more than one office. So we want to point out it will be at our Troutdale office. We have a small parking lot in the back of the building. People are welcome to join us.
Okay, moving on. There's a huge article in Inman, and I love Inman because they are the paper of record for real estate ongoing. They are so wonderful. And I love the summits they put on, although I didn't get to go to their recent New York summit. It just ended. I wish I could have been there. But maybe,
oh, for heaven's sakes, you're going to the legislative meeting
I know.
next week.
I know, but getting to go to Inman would have been tremendous, just tremendous fun. But they have an article about growth and sustainable growth. And can the growth cycle we're in right now actually be sustained?
What kind of growth are you talking about, Ryan?
We're talking about equity growth, because we're on 121 months right now of constant equity growth in the United States. We've never had this long of a record before. It is record setting, and we're thinking that April is going to be month 122. Of course, April is not in the bank yet, but we do believe that April will be month number 122. And this kind of equity growth is amazing when you start thinking about how much growth that is, this constant growth. Now, right now, we are in a steep curve of growth. In fact, let me jump over to that data right now, and that is March. So, of course, we're always looking in the rearview mirror at this stuff. So, in March, we had home growth prices. We're talking year over year. YOY, year over year. 15% nationwide. I'm not talking, Northwest has had huge growth. I'm talking nationwide. March came in, March over March, 15% above in prices. This is the largest amount we've ever seen. This is why the article is so important. Is it sustainable? But then to offset that, Karen, we have a huge downturn in inventory. Crazy. We have a 9.5. I want to be specific about this. Year over year, we have 9.5% less inventory than we did year over year.
Just to be clear, we can sell more homes than this.
Oh, yeah.
Inventory is killing us.
We can sell more homes. There's just no inventory out there. It's shocking how low the inventory is. Although low inventory does not mean no inventory. Just did a show on this a week or two ago on our 7:30 morning show on building your business larger than ever before on our real estate daily show. And low inventory doesn't mean no inventory. There is some inventory, but having your myopic focus on it has to be really sharp, because that inventory can come and go in 24 hours. It's going so fast, and it can come and go over a weekend. You can put a home up for sale, get in 30 offers, and it's just gone. And people swoop in and say, well, I wish there was a 3 or 4 bedroom home in this neighborhood. There was. It went up for sale on Friday, and by Sunday night, it was gone. That's
some people, though, get confused because they can still see the home on Zillow. They still see the for sale sign in front of the house, and they're like, that's not so. It's still for sale 20 days later. They don't have a sale. What does that mean, Brian?
Well, you're asking a big question. What does it mean? It means that all these systems out there lag. They're not all instantly. If you really want to be ahead of the inventory game, you have to connect to someone, well, I'm going to say like us, but there's lots of them out there that have active IDX feeds that keep the data on point moment to moment. And I mean, as it feeds, you need to have that active link. And better than that, you need to have a realtor that is connected and making phone calls and in communication with the neighborhoods and the areas that your client wants to be in, because that's really what changes everything.
So you're basically saying, though, that a home can be on the market and it might be on a day, maybe a week or so, and it gets an offer, but you can't necessarily tell.
Because a lot of the sites out there, and I'm not blaming Zillow or anybody, just a lot of the sites out there lag in their data. And that lag can be not only hours, it can be days and even a week or more. So the lag in data continues to show homes for sale. Or they may even show homes that aren't on the market actually and haven't been for a long time because of a data mishap. And that really messes with people's perception of what's actually available.
So we're in the Portland metro market, and I think the last time I pulled the numbers, our inventory was considered at like a 0.6 or something, 0.7.
Yep.
What does that mean? I mean, that's kind of this odd number to get. So
drilling it down, what it actually means is it's based upon how much of a month do you have. So a 0.6 would be basically you have 2 weeks. Think about it as you have a half a month. So a 1.0 would be you have 1 month of inventory, or a 0.6 you have a 0.5 would be exactly, but it's general. And in your particular neighborhood, in your particular area where your client is, you may even have less or slightly more. It depends. I mean, for example, in our area, if you go up on the top of Mount Hood, the inventory rolls slower. There may be a month and a half or 2 months of inventory up there. Where you get closer to the city, the Portland area, then you may even have less than a half a month. You may have a weekend. And that's how tight the market is.
Okay, Rod. Now, are you mocking the mountain because maybe they have to take a snow shovel to get into the house?
Well, maybe a little bit, but I'm not mocking the mountain as much as I'm just saying that's the reality. Things turn a little bit slower on the mountain and the further away from jobs, because the job epicenter tends to be the larger market. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. So the thing is that if you're looking at you cast this large net, Portland metro area, and you include things like Welch's and whatnot for those that are local, that's bringing the number down actually, as far as how quickly they're getting offers. So definitely, I don't want people to think that they have time to sleep on a home in this market, because not only are the prices going up, and you might say, oh, well, nobody's buying them at that price. Nobody's buying that $500,000 home. It's not worth that. Remember, there's only a half a month supply. That includes lots, lands, condos,
everything,
homes, and it can include outer areas that are moving a little slower. So if you are looking for, that little gem in town, when you spot it, you need to snap it up.
For example, in Troutdale, where our home office is at, Troutdale is crazy hot right now, and homes are lasting maybe 2.5 days. It's just incredible. But I want to get out to our guest, because our guest is so exciting.
Pretty excited about that. Who is it this time?
Coming up right after the break, we're going to meet Lorenda Spratt, real estate licensed agent and broker. And she has so much to bring to the table. I am so excited.
So look, we have her in the green room right now. We're making her nervous. Lorenda Spratt is an awesome agent, and we know that. Why, Rod?
Because she works for us.
She's just awesome, and she has been with us several years. We are so excited. We're going to go to a commercial break in just a few minutes, but just to kind of get her on edge before we get her going, we are going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we will be talking with Lorenda Spratt and seeing what kind of awesome insight she has.
That's right.
Okay.
See you right after this.
So, Rod, how can a cup of coffee improve my career in real estate?
Well, one cup of coffee is how we start our mornings, and it's not a stranger in real estate. We have coffee with our clients all the time. Even bigger than that, we can sit down with one cup of coffee, talk about your goals, make your business bigger, and push you to heights that you can't even believe.
That's right. And I'll tell you, working for Rod and I, you can be pushed because he's a workhorse.
I love real estate, and I want to share my passion with building your career in real estate as soon as we can pour the next cup of coffee.
So how about a cup of coffee with us?
I look forward to having a cup of coffee with you and having a discussion of a career change as soon as possible.
Thank you. So Rod, the guru, is back, and he is going to start interviewing Lorenda Spratt in just a moment. I'm going to bring her out of the green room to see what great tidbits of information she can share. Welcome, Lorenda and Rod.
Welcome, Lorenda, to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. I just feel so lucky that you've carved out time for us because I happen to know something. You are crazy busy.
Yes, always busy.
You are balancing a career, family, husband, and I say those separate because
let me tell you, that's a lot of work.
Right.
The husband part is just enough.
Probably. Well, Lorraine, let's start in with before real estate because you're doing an amazing job in real estate. But let's start before real estate because we all have a past. Something got us here. What are some of the things you did before getting into real estate?
Before going into real estate, I was a preschool teacher for 7 years.
Wow.
Oh my God, and she still has some sanity.
Right?
I didn't remember that about Lorena. I remember she was part of that, but 7 years.
Or maybe
7 years.
It went so well.
Because of the insanity.
There's a little lack of sanity. I don't know. Preschool teacher. And was that in the Portland metro area? Are people going to recognize you?
Part of the time I did work downtown. So I was downtown, I worked in Tillamook, and then I also worked in Hebo.
In Hebo. You don't hear that very often.
You don't. Not very many jobs there.
and Lorena was holding one down.
That's
Sorry
right.
to say that's been a while now, so we can't be telling people about a job opening.
Right. Nope.
No. Probably. Well, once upon a time, Lorena, you decided that maybe real estate would get you excited. What made you start thinking about, because there's a whole licensing process, but what made you start thinking about it?
I really started thinking about it once we met you and we were looking for a home. I really enjoyed searching for the perfect home, and I thought, you know what? Let's make a career out of this.
Well, and I remember during that search, all of a sudden she was on fire for her own search.
Right.
And I'm a bit biased on that. I think that's an awesome way to come join a team.
It is, yeah,
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, and boy, was it a search. And, we were just talking about the mountain and snow and whatnot. You finally did pick out a place that you get some snow, don't you?
Oh, yes. I sure did. There's a lot of shoveling.
So I'll tell you, on Facebook the other day, I saw a post that said something, what was it? Due to supply chain issues, your February snow has just arrived. Because some of us that live in the snow regions of the Portland metro area, which really isn't that far away from Portland, it's like within half an hour of Portland, you can be in the snow zone.
Yeah.
Some parts of inner Portland, if you're up on the hilltops, you can get it. But if you're within just outside of a half an hour of Portland, you're in the snow zone. And we were getting dumped on in April. How much snow did you get, Lorena?
Well, during that time, I was not in the state. So I'm not sure. I've heard reports that we got about 6 inches.
Yeah.
6 inches. What she had got was she was listening to the forecast and said, I got to get out of town.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, Lorena, so you went through the process of buying your own home a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're licensed. How do you feel like that actually going through the process helps you now with the practice of real estate?
You can definitely relate to a buyer and what they're looking for and what's important to them, knowing what was important to you. And then also just seeing how you guys helped us is how I would like to help other clients and building that trust and relationship as we go along looking for a house.
Well, it is a big deal when you start thinking about building trust. How do we talk about it on the morning show a lot on building a relationship and how you have to build credibility, and with credibility you head towards trust, and trust will get you over to that relationship. But that's hard because you don't know the person.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think along with that, if you can relate back to your own buying process, I think it gives you a little bit of empathy towards the stress that's involved in purchasing a property too.
Right.
Yeah. It is stressful. And now adding to that stress, we're in this crazy seller's market, which makes it even harder. And I know you are actively involved in so much of real estate. And I want to get to that in a minute, because you are doing something, in real estate that is not unique, but it is special, and puts you in, and of course you're licensed, but you're doing something else. So anyway, being a centerpiece inside this and understanding it from a purchasing position as well as a helping position, I think that brings on a really powerful mental position.
Right.
So a lot of clients of mine, when we're out looking at homes and whatnot, will say, so what do you think about the home?
Right.
What would you do? Mm-hmm. What kind of tidbits of knowledge can you give, either first-time home buyers or even realtors that would help, would address that answer?
Right. When you hear that question, it's just really knowing your client and what they want and what they don't want. And you kind of, instead of saying, oh, I like this or I don't like that, you say, oh, well, this fits what you're looking for because it has this, this, and this. Can you see yourself here? So it's really just kind of flipping that script and saying, this is what you want and this is what the house is.
Right.
So that's what I try to do during those circumstances.
I like that concept of flipping the script.
That active listening and understanding your client. And the more time you spend with them, the more you can relate to them or understand what they're looking for. And if they say what they're looking for is that 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a double-car garage, but what they're looking at is a condo with no yard, and they seem to be happy with it, that probably means you need to have more of a discussion with them. Are you changing your goals? Have you realigned now that we've looked at a few homes? Is that something that you keep reevaluating with your clients?
Oh, definitely. Because it can change as you start looking at homes. They can say, hey, look, I'm not going to find everything that I was looking for. I'm willing to get a smaller yard, or I'm willing to get a home without a garage. So things do change as you're looking, and you need to stay on top of that.
And asking people, is this your forever home, or is this, your first home to get to build, a building block home? So it could be not necessarily a flipper. I don't like to use the word flipper unless it truly is. It might be a home someone's going to be in for a few years, and then they're simply using the equity to move on.
Very true.
Just the other day, though, I was out showing a client, again, what they told me they wanted, what we had discussed over and over again, which was remote property. It could be a fixer. They didn't want to put in their own power and well and septic, but they were okay with fixing up the home. But they got out of the car and it started snowing. again, that April snow we were having.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was, we don't want to live this high. We don't want to live this far away from Portland. We didn't necessarily realize that because the property had the acreage, it had the space, the ability to build, it already had the well and the water. And just kind of on the moment, or as they were driving up there,
it was snowing. Yeah.
Uh-oh, maybe we forgot a few of the criteria.
And the home is about 2,800 feet up. So it's getting some serious stuff. So I want to ask Lorena though about balance, and then I want to get over to the TC stuff. So you have a family. In fact, you have young children.
Yep.
She's balancing a dog, right?
And you have a dog.
Yes. GPS is here, so they're going after it.
No problem. We have dogs, and it happens to us right in the middle of stuff. We totally get it.
Right.
How do you balance it? Let me start off different. Is this a good career for someone with young children to balance?
It can be very hard with young children. I'm going to be honest. You do get to more pick your hours, but it's very demanding at the same time. When your clients want to see a house, especially in this market, you have to find a way to go see that house. So when we're talking that way, a lot of people think getting into real estate, I'm going to make my own schedule, I'll work when I want. It's really not like that. There's a lot of, you've got to go at the right time. And there's a lot of juggling on where are the kids going to go, who's going to watch them then. So you really have to be prepared for that as well. But as I started the next part of my career, it really opens that up. So once we start talking about that, it's changed a lot of things for me.
So before we switch over, and I have a little dog on my lap, he stole off because he was falling asleep.
I might have to let him out of here. Hold on.
No problem, Lorena.
Possible,
Let's talk with Chappers and give her an opportunity. It is hard. Karen, you and I have known a lot of people that have had to balance their career. You and I had to balance a career, and you decided to stop work for a while, and I was continuing a more of a classic style job years ago. But these kind of choices are big with families.
Right, they are.
They can be very big. And did you find, because you have a little one that isn't of school age and whatnot, did you find that some of your clients are pretty open to you bringing your child, or offering you a little bit of flexibility in that?
A lot of people are. I like to meet my clients first before introducing children into the mix.
Yes.
A lot of clients have family and they can understand that. So yes, my little one has gone on showings with me. He's gone to the office, as you know. He's gone everywhere with me. And that is one thing that's nice about real estate, is you can be flexible and figure out, how am I going to make this work?
And and your little one loves dogs.
Oh, he does. He loves dogs.
So I'll tell you, I'm all in favor of grooming the next generation of realtors.
Right.
Them, showing them the ropes, getting them started. And this is a great way. One of the things that we've really appreciated is, Lorena has shared her family with us, and our office has always been open to family, pets. It's
guide dogs.
We always talk about and have around at the office and events that we do. But now I think Ron wants to jump in and talk about.
I'm just excited.
Other part of Lorena's job.
So, Lorena, once upon a time, we were in the need at the office, and you threw your hand up about being a transaction coordinator.
Yes.
And you transitioned or are transitioning. You are fully licensed, but you're also what we call a TC, a transaction coordinator.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
One thing that is so nice doing transaction coordinating is the fact that you're able to do it remote. So I can sit in my home, have my kids with me, have my dogs barking in the background, and I'm still working. And I'm still building a career. That is one of my favorite parts. It definitely takes a different type of person. And once anybody who's starting real estate, they learn what they're good at and what they're not good
Yeah.
at. And luckily, I'm good at that side of real estate. So it's just a really great fit for me to be able to
Let me jump right there. You're good at it, at it.
Right.
If you were advising somebody about a choice of taking a TC position versus, a standard realtor position, what advice what are the obstacles? What are the things that you would say, oh, well, you got to make sure you're good at XYZ? What are those things?
You have to be very organized. I would say that is number one. You need to make sure that you're looking at the timelines, that nothing's missed, no deadlines are missed. You need to make sure you're reviewing all the documents to make sure there's no signatures missed. So organization is number one for this job.
Yeah.
Has that helped you get better at understanding the forms?
Yeah, I feel like I can read just about any form without even looking at it. I know right where every signature is supposed to be. I've got them memorized now.
Okay. You'll be one of those people pretty soon, if you're not already, saying, oh, yeah, that's on line 121.
Right. Very true.
I think that for a lot of realtors, and you take 100 realtors, I think using a TC for about 80 of them is the right choice, because paperwork is not the forte of a lot of people. Like for me, I'm a relationship person, and doing the paperwork is, while I could do it, I don't want to. It's not the thing I want to focus on.
Right.
And what makes you a better organized person?
That's a good question. Just my personality, I would say, to begin with, is just very organized. I always have lists. I'm always on top of that kind of stuff. And going out and maybe prospecting or this or that, I can do it just like you said, but I'm really, really good at keeping everything organized, making sure everybody signs everything, keeping everything on track to make sure there's a successful close.
So now you mentioned something there, making sure everybody signs things.
Right. That's the biggest one.
How difficult is that to do? Because you're working with a client and a broker at least.
And another broker. And, the list goes on of who needs to see these documents and who needs to sign it. So it might not even be the broker that I'm working with. It could be a completely different broker. But things are missed surprisingly a lot. So I spend a good amount of my time sending back documents and saying, no, this isn't right. We need to fix this and this and this. And
do you get hate mail when you do that?
No, not yet. I'm nice.
So I've got to ask, do you feel cheated on not being able to have that face-to-face relationship, or are you still able to have relationships with these other people?
Well, my relationship has changed from the client to the broker who I'm working with. So there is still a relationship aspect, because whoever I'm working for, they have to trust me as well. So you're still getting that. I do miss going out and meeting new people, but just from a family perspective, this is just a great fit.
Wow.
And, I think that, because you still have your license, you are able to still sell real estate.
Right.
And if you had a family member or a friend or something, you'd still be able to do that transaction, right?
Yes, very true.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure all offices allow their transaction coordinator to do that. I'm really not sure, but I know that the license allows for that. So,
and we allow it.
It leaves it nice and open for you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, so you feel like this TC gig, I hate to call it that, a career opportunity, is a good fit for some people.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think if anybody's organized, you have to have dedication to sit down at the computer every day. So you have to have that self-discipline to make sure you're getting stuff done. But
Now, we're not going to use names about anybody, but there
Mhm.
are times you have to be very assertive in this role. Isn't that right?
Right. Yes.
And push back and say you need something to happen because the contract isn't put together correct.
Right. Very true.
Do you find
That's
that to be a challenge?
No, not so much, because I remember when I was first starting real estate, and you just don't know everything. There's so much stuff to know. So I've worked with other brokers who are brand new from the other side who I'm not working with, and, just talked to them and said, hey, we need this changed. And I completely understand. I've done the same things. I've made the same mistakes, but we just need to get this taken care of.
Yeah.
And the approach makes a big difference. And
Right.
once you perfect that, that makes your life a lot easier, whether you're the broker or transaction coordinator. But
Right.
do you find, now that you've done kind of both sides of this fence, do you find that one type is harder than another, or what's kind of the difference?
I would say the difference is when you're an broker, you're doing everything. When you're working as a TC, it's more streamlined. There's still a lot of different things that I have to master. But you're just kind of focusing on the one thing. I would say starting up as a broker, it would be really helpful because there's so much to learn starting a job in real estate. So it's nice to just kind of have a more streamlined and get a huge grasp on documents and timelines and deadlines. And so I think it is really helpful just being a TC to start out with.
It's my personal belief that new brokers need to work closely with a TC so that the new broker / agent can focus on rainmaking their new sphere of clients and focus on the relationships, knowing that all the details are being cared for by a TC.
So true. So true. You have somebody by your side making sure that this closes.
But I
Absolutely.
do think that as a new broker, they need to understand the importance of the forms. They need to not underestimate the value of the form and the transaction coordinator that's making sure that this happens. This is a super important position.
Right. Very true.
Now, I want to ask about Lorena is so busy. The fact that she can carve out a half hour for us today is amazing. So, Lorena, I know you're involved in kickboxing, and if I understand right, you are a black belt in.
No, not a black belt.
Okay, not yet.
No, I have spent most of my time training doing kickboxing and grappling. So there's no belting system to that.
Okay.
So I'm just really good at it, right?
Is that because you have young kids you're good at grappling?
Right, it does help, huh? I have transitioned a little bit into the jiu-jitsu side where they do belt, but I'm just a white belt.
Wow.
She's starting off, but I don't want to find her in an alley.
No, no, Lord, no.
See, I have a secret weapon. I know people can't see me, I'm hiding. But Lorena and Rod know I have the secret weapon called Louie. It's my little dog.
Oh, yes.
He's only about 8 inches high. And let me tell you, he could attach himself to somebody's ankle and he might not let go.
Let's not make fun of Lou's height.
But Lorena, on the other hand, she's dangerous.
Lorena will put you down.
So we are so excited to have Lorena as part of our team. She's even shown that she can go on vacation, and as a transaction coordinator, she's able to slip this in the middle of the day, or
as long as the hotel has Wi-Fi.
Right. I'll get it done.
Well, Lorena, thank you so much for being part of the show today. And it's such an honor, of course, to work with you and see the work that you're doing at such a high professionalism. It really is amazing. And to understand more about what you're doing, people will find this fascinating because you don't hear a lot from TCs out there.
Right. Very true.
Well, and I'm finding TCs are super, super important. People really need to respect the fact that a TC is what's holding their transaction together.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right.
thank you so much for joining us, Lorena. I want to point out to people, I've been putting up on the screen your contact information in case somebody wants to get a hold of you directly. Your phone number is on the bottom of the screen now, and I'm going to switch it over to your email address. These are your direct lines.
And if you want to work with a local broker in the Sandy, Oregon area,
that's right,
a family person, this is your go-to person. And talk about someone who knows the paperwork. She can train it.
and she knows where
Right.
the snow zone is.
That she knows what the snow zone is, yes. And knows when to get out of town.
That's it.
Right.
Thank you, Lorena.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. You take care.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
She is so smart. We are so lucky to be connected to Lorena.
Well, we like to pickle. And Lorena is a good catch. She fits with our company really, really well. Our company likes to focus on more of a family atmosphere in which brokers get along with each other. Yeah, there's a little bit of competition, but we kind of back up each other as needed.
Yeah.
And we work together as a team. We have community events and our brokers get together. They show up, they help, collect the garbage, set up the benches and so forth.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'll
right.
tell you, Lorena and her family
They're right
joined the
there.
team, and they've been full force participating in activities.
We're at the Halloween.
Lots of fun.
We're at the Halloween event, and they were cleaning the whole thing up. Had the hay back in the truck. It was amazing.
I mean, like the whole event was picked
Yeah,
up in
yeah.
like a half an hour, and half of it, most of it was Lorena and her family just putting in
It
good
was.
labor. But we do have a whole team, so I do want to give kudos to the rest of the team as well. But Lorena has family, she has kids, she has dogs, she has there's a lot of fun.
She's
going
busy.
on. And don't forget that kickboxing.
Yeah.
You gotta keep an eye
When
on
they say
her.
ask a busy person if you want something done, she's the person you want to go ask.
That's right.
Hey, I want to mention real quick. Of course, there's the pancake breakfast, the Mount Hood Appreciation Community Breakfast for June 18th, 9 to noon, just as a reminder of that. And also, I want to mention about next week. And are you finding the slide there?
I found the pancake feed
The
slide.
pancake feed slide.
It's always several slides back. And God has me looking for
Well,
my
it hit my mind, and I wanted to mention it again. That we have this exciting event coming on, and the syrup's going to be pouring. The sausage links are going to be going on. We're going to have a good time.
You gotta come.
Bring your
just to make
family and your
sure-
children. Bring everybody.
People have to come just to see how many pancakes miss the grill.
Well, they are having a blind person do it. So
I mean, you keep saying that, but if I was cooking, I bet I'd have more pancakes on the ground.
well, they'd just be charcoals.
They might be.
They'd be discs.
That is true.
Hey, next week we have Lisa Bittendorf, current president of East Metro Association of Realtors, joining us. I'm very excited about that. Also, I would love it if you'd hit the like button, follow us on social media, give us a comment. If you have a comment of someone that we need to be interviewing on the real estate show here, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you on that. And over on YouTube, I don't know if you have a link to that, hit the subscribe button, and the subscribe button will open up the Guru members only events where we help grow your business larger than ever imagined. And I think that we are set.
Well, we're pretty excited. Next week, we are going to be at the legislative events, and hopefully we'll be bringing back everybody some news, and we will be doing an interview with Lisa Bittendorf. We'll try to slip that in, so it should be all fun and excitement.
It'll be
Looking
exciting.
forward to it.
Thanks, you guys.